Summer is fast approaching, and I think it's time we took a little bit of stress out of our lives, isn't it? With HelloFresh UK, you can get all the ingredients and inspiration you need to make your meal times and your cooking experience simpler than ever. HelloFresh provides a number of recipes and meals to make your life as easy as possible and also caters to a wide range of different dietary requirements. Use my special discount to get 50% off your first order plus 35% off the next three and 3 free gifts as well. What more could you ask for? Check out the discount link or the checkout code down in the description below. Hello and welcome back for National League semi-final playoff predictions from the Honest Football Podcast with me, Daniel. We are back today to preview the two big semi-finals taking place on Sunday after the exciting eliminators that have just gone in midweek. It's also an exciting day for me because in addition to it being a bumper semi-final day on Sunday afternoon, it's also the day I move into my 30s, so please do send sympathy down in the comments for my aging. But we are going to talk about the two big games, a lunchtime kickoff between Notts County and Boreham Wood, and the later game between Chesterfield and Bromley. I was fortunate enough, as you know, to be at Barnet versus Boreham Wood on Tuesday night, and I watched the other game in full on BT on Wednesday. So before we move on to these Sunday predictions, let's have a quick recap of what happened in midweek. A few of us predicted a Boreham Wood win. I went on penalties. A couple of you went by the odd goal. None of us got a perfect score, but well done to Steve, who also picked up 1 point. And then for Bromley, away at 4th place Woking, for what half the game it looked like it was going to be an absolute smash and grab from the home side. But Bromley were excellent. They should have been 3 or 4 up at half time. And in the end, they did get a thoroughly deserved victory. So well done to the sides in 6th and 7th who have surprised the odds and probably proved the worth of the eliminators by making it through to the semi-finals. But this is where the big hitters come in from 2nd and 3rd. Notts County would have been a record points total in any other year, but because of the Wrexham story, failed by 4 points, and with 107 are remarkably in the playoffs. And Chesterfield, 84 points for them. They finished 2 above Woking in 3rd place. A quick shout out before we get into the first game as well to our 2 brand partners, HelloFresh UK and NordVPN. Check out the links for them down in the description below. And if you did miss any of our content from the Barnet Boreham Wood game, you can find that up in the eye above. But let's get into the first game, which features Boreham Wood. They are going away to Notts County. Let's be honest, I think most people are of the impression that this playoffs is Notts County's to lose because they finished in 2nd with a record points total for the league in any other season. It of course sharpens the argument for 2 automatic promotion places, and it's one we've discussed many times on here that we're fully in agreement with. That's across the board from all the presenters. But we have got to talk about this game because if there is one side who Notts County wouldn't want to be facing, is probably Boreham Wood. Notts County have been stunning at home all season. They've only lost 1 match in their home stadium, 5 draws, 17 wins, 56 points and 54 goals. But crucially, this game could be a battle of defences. Notts County have the meanest defence at home in the league. They've conceded 12 goals in 23 games, which is absolutely astonishing at any level. And then on the flip side of that, Boreham Wood have got the meanest defence in the league and the meanest defence away from home. 21 goals conceded in their 23 away league games, 40 in 46 games overall, and of course one that was added to that against Barnet. But even after that, they soaked up so much pressure. They sat deep defensively and they were just so comfortable. They dealt with balls into the box, albeit bar a corner, which is very ironic for a Boreham Wood side. But on the counter, 2 big men up front, a massive threat on the break. And again, they just played Barnet at the game, let them have possession, let them pass it around 25-30 yards out, get balls into the box and trust their back 4 to deal with it. Back 5 as it was at the end. They were just so compact, so solid, and you've got to give it to Luke Garrard. They are possibly, in terms of budget, one of the most overperforming sides in the league, and also definitely one of the most drilled. For Notts County, for the most part this season, they've been absolutely sublime. Actually, the top scorers in the league with 117 in 46 games. Of course, outdoing Wrexham by 1 in the end. And the main man up front, we know it very well, is Macaulay Langstaff, who has scored a bundle of goals, an absolutely brilliant season, despite not taking penalties for the club. And when you add into that some of the other threat they've got, I mean, they've just got quality everywhere. Ruben Rodriguez from midfield, Matty Palmer, sublime players. And you just wonder, even for a defence of the quality of Boreham Wood, are they going to be able to keep them out? If they sit deep as they did against Barnet, as they do in so many league fixtures away from home, are one of the Notts County players going to be able to pick the ball up 20, 25 yards out and produce a moment of magic? Because that's the thing Barnet didn't have ultimately. And I wonder if Notts County will be able to do that. There is another element of interest to add in this as well, which is both league fixtures this season ended in a draw. A very early home draw in the season for Boreham Wood at home, but then away in January, Notts County pressed and prodded, but Boreham Wood's defence sat tight. And this is something we have to factor in here. I don't think we're going to have a very expansive game. I think Boreham Wood and Notts County's home defensive record would tell you that. Notts County, again, scored less at home than they have away, perhaps struggling to break down teams who are sitting back a bit more. I say struggling, just the 54 goals at home for them. But you know my point. I think this is going to be quite tense. If Notts County score an early goal, we could see an absolute bloodbath. They've done it to plenty of good teams this season. Even if you look at their last 2 home wins before the final day of the season, both by 3-0. One of those up against Woking, who finished in 4th. However, I look at this game and just think, yes, Boreham Wood will probably be one of the sides they really didn't want to face. Yes, it will be a very cagey game if Boreham Wood can hold them out, or if, like they did at Barnet, they can nick the first goal. But you have to go for a Notts County win. They've just got so much firepower, so much quality from so many areas. And while they have had heartbreak in the playoffs many a time in the National League, I think this year they are going to get to the final. You can't back against them. I do think it'll be closer than a lot of people are predicting. But Notts County are going to edge it, for me, by 2-1. Let's move on to the second one though. At 3:30, again, both of these games live on BT. It is Chesterfield versus Bromley. Now on paper, aesthetically, this should be a brilliant game to watch. Both sides not the best defensively, conceded over 50 goals in a league season. Both of them play pretty free-flowing football. Paul Cook starting to find form with Chesterfield towards the end of the year, particularly at home. 3 of their last 4 fixtures were at home and they scored 12 goals in those, albeit 2 of them were against relegation strugglers. But you look at the Bromley performance on Wednesday night and they're going to be up against it because it was a stunning performance. Yes, they only won it 2-1 coming from behind in the end, but what a display in the first half. I mean, Will Jaskalainen in the Woking goal, he channeled his inner Jussi there because he was absolutely sublime. But Bromley dominated the game. They thoroughly deserved to get through. And if they play like that in this playoffs, they're going to be a match for anyone. We saw last year when they went to Wembley in the FA Trophy final. There's a link to that in the eye above as well. They shocked the odds against Wrexham. They can do it against the big boys and on the big occasion. And Andy Woodman, I mentioned it in the last episode, has done such a good job. Him and Luke Garrard, the 2 away managers this Sunday, deserve such credit for their respective performances. And whilst playing in very different styles with very different types of teams as well, just shows there's more than one way to play football well. But this game, I just feel it might be a bridge too far again. I think it's going to be a thriller. And of course, Bromley will be buoyed by the fact that on the penultimate day of the regular league season, they won 2-0 at home to Chesterfield. But that doesn't count for anything when you get to the playoffs. The extra break is obviously going to benefit. The home advantage will benefit Chesterfield again. And after the top 2, they have got the best home record in the league. It's the catalyst for them being in the playoffs. For Bromley, I was going to say they're not as great away from home. They only won 9 games in the regular league season, but that counted for nothing at Woking. That defence suited them though. They were given time on the ball. They were allowed to make those little runs in behind. I'm not sure Chesterfield will offer that. I'm kind of looking back to their game in the autumn, which Chesterfield nipped by 3-2. Really exciting game, 2 teams attacking, goals galore at both ends. I've got a feeling it could be a very similar game to that. I've got a real feeling there's going to be goals in this one. Now, I did predict Bromley to lose 2-0 at Woking and couldn't have got that more wrong. But if both teams turn up here, I think it is the game to watch of the weekend. And I'm going to go, and maybe just by 1 more, because I think you'll see late on, if obviously Bromley are a goal behind or either side, they'll throw everything at it. And that's when you see some of the wilder score lines. We got them last year in the playoffs in the National League. I'm going for it again. Bromley, brilliant away from home against Woking. Again, I'm going for the home side here. The best 3 in the league are definitely the 3 at the top. And if Chesterfield turn up, I think they're going to nick it. 4-2 Chesterfield against Bromley. So let's have a quick recap of what I've predicted. And again, I don't mind who gets through here, but I have gone for both of the 2nd and 3rd place teams to win it. The home favourites to meet in the final next Saturday at Wembley Stadium for the big showpiece event. Boreham Wood and Bromley, brilliant in midweek. Can they shock the odds again? I've given my predictions and said I don't think they can, but what do you think? Let me know down in the comments below. If you beat my predictions, you will get a shout out in the recap ahead of the final next weekend. We will do a prediction show for that as well. Loads of playoffs from the EFL to come, and the final day of the championship season we'll be looking ahead to tomorrow. There is so much to come on this channel this month. We'll be at non-league finals day as well. The annual event at Wembley for the FA Vase and Trophy final. You've got to love May for non-league football. So let me know what your scores are down in the comments. If you did enjoy this preview, please do chuck a thumbs up on it. Subscribe for regular content from the podcast. It's going to be virtually daily for the rest of this month. You can check out plenty of other non-league content and interviews with current and former pros up in the eye above. And of course, do check out the links to our brand partners HelloFresh UK and NordVPN, both of those down in the description. Thanks for watching as always though, your support is greatly appreciated. We'll see you back here tomorrow for the final day predictions from the Championship.